Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with day 12 of May I Scraplift You, a hop started by Crystal Barrett with pineapple papers. And today we are scraplifting, or I am, and some other people, Lillian's Scrapier, I think is how you say it. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it yourself because I'm not sure. Based on the journaling, I can tell that it is not in English, or at least parts of it. So there's lots of layers, some hexagons, and 3 smaller pictures. I've decided to use Paige Evans Wonders, and I've got some scraps that I want to get used. I have the sticker pack and this sticker sheet, and then I've already cut some hexagons out of some of these papers, and I have some ephemera that I've already pulled out from this collection as well. And so here are the 3 pictures, and we had gone to my in-laws' house and saw these really cool butterflies. I don't know if they were tables, if they were just decorations. I can't really tell because we were driving by, and based on some of the pictures you can tell it's a little blurry. So here is all the Paige Evans I have, and then I have these stickers called the Scenic Route, and I'm thinking I might use something from here as a title or a subtitle. And then I have the white paper and the black paper for my background, and all this ephemera from the Wonders collection as well. So, and then I brought these Crafter's Square, which is the dollar store, butterflies, because obviously I'm documenting butterflies. It's a perfect time to use some of the massive stash I have of butterflies. And then these are Mrs. Grossman's, and I have a bunch of different small ones I thought I might be able to bring in if the colors cooperated together. So I have my embellishments, all my Wonders collection that I have left with some papers and ephemera and these pictures and this layout. So let's see how this goes. So first of all, I'm going to share with you that I've made a mistake, and you're going to see that I'm trying to get this down, and it's supposed to come off the side, and so I'm trying to get it to work for me. I know I could have done whatever I wanted, but it was ending in a really bad place. So look, I just flipped the paper, you all. When you're using a solid cardstock, just flip the paper. I tried to pretty much stick with what hers looked like because I really loved the hexagons in the corners and the massive stack of layering bits in the middle. So I pull this frame that came from the ephemera kit, and I decide which one of these pictures it's going to look best. And then I measured to see the general idea for how what the size of this frame is, because I want all 3 pictures to be pretty much the same size. So I get them cut down, and it's like 2.5 by 3 2/3 or something. It's bigger than 3.5, but it's not as wide as 3 3/4. And so I'm trying to gauge based on where they are layered or stacked is how big I want the butterfly paper that's going to be the main mat in this layout. And so based on what I'm looking at, I decide that I want it to be about 9.5 inches because 10 inches is too wide, and I don't want it to be too thin, and it can only be 8 inches tall because that's as much as I have. So I cut it down to, I think it is 9.5 by 8, or just shy of 8. Once I mat it on black, it is 8. 8 by 9 3/4. So then I get this, it's a thin black, so it's not cardstock, but it's thin, and so I'm not needing any depth. I just want the layer so that that butterfly paper, which is base page white, so it doesn't disappear into the white background, which I wanted a white background so that the hexagons would stand out. So I get that matted, and I'm just going to start layering, not tacking down. I'm just looking to see what I like. So there's one wide piece that's got a banner fishtail cut at the bottom. There's a thinner piece and then a skinnier piece. So I start with these 3. I do change the dark blue to a little bit wider piece. So I bring this out, and I'm like, wah, wah, wah. It's a little bit bigger than I was thinking, or my hexagons were bigger than I was thinking. I don't know. And so it's covering over and touching the hexagons pretty much on all 3 corners. And I'm okay with that. I could have cut it down more, but I really didn't want to. I really liked the size and how everything was going to fit. So I thought, well, I'm just going to work this out. But then as I look back at the layout, her banners and things pretty much go above the top and below the bottom. And my pieces of scraps are not that big. So I cut a fishtail, and then like a crazy person, I start looking at this, the middle size. That blue is going to be the middle size, and then the butterfly paper that I just trimmed is the branding strip from another paper. And so I get to looking and I realize, okay, this is supposed to be longer, and then I cut it, and it did not miraculously get wider. I pulled the other piece of the scrap, which was wider, and I just tack it down at the top and the bottom so it is coming out, and it's torn on her layout, so I go ahead and tear it. And it does have something coming off the side. Looks like some type of an embellishment or like paper cut, something there, but I don't add anything. And then I do the same thing with my wide green paper, which is the back of that butterfly paper. And I tear it or cut it in half, and then I have that fishtail at the bottom. And so obviously I'm going to have to make sure that gets covered because that looks ridiculous. And then this is just, like I said, a branding strip, which you can tell. And I just put that down in the middle, and I tear the end of that just like it has in the sketch. So I just have to maneuver my pictures to where they are going to cover this hole, which means they're not going to be exactly layered like in her sketch, but they're just going to all layer on top of each other just a little. She has a small gap between the left and right picture, but the bottom picture is overlapping both pictures. So really, it's just a very small, minor detail. And then I realized she's got some journaling tucked back there. So I want to look for a journaling card. And that is one thing that this Paige Evans collection I have is quite a few little things that I can use as journaling. That color's not going to work because the green is right there. I do have a couple of options, but the wording is at the bottom and would get covered. But then this one says The Sweet Life, and I thought that would be a good fit color-wise, and the wording is at the top, and she has like a title up above the top picture, so I thought that that would all work out perfectly. I do distress it with, no, I ink it with my Distress ink in Black Soot, which is my go-to color, or it's either Black Soot or I use Vintage Photo a lot. So, but this is Black Soot. Since I've got the black in the background, I figured I would use that. And I just put it down underneath where the picture is going to go, but slightly on top of the green. Not very much at all. And then I just put this very first picture over far enough and down low enough to where it's going to cover the hole for the blue and part of the green paper. And then the same thing with this smaller one. I help cover up a little bit of the hole. And then I put the one that I have framed, which I love that frame. It is so gorgeous. And of course it matches the paper because it came from the collection. So it's just very pretty, and I love the colors. And this is the positive to working with a collection. When I'm tired, I don't have to worry about if something matches. So I do like to challenge myself to try and pull things from different paper pads and collections because, you know, that's just normally the way I roll. But when I've had a extremely long day and a seriously rough couple of weeks, I just need something. This is not simple, but at least I know everything matches because it is all from one collection. And I fight with that little hexagon right there far too much, so I cut a lot of that out. Don't ask me why. I just did. So I get all of the paper layers down, and I really, really love this. Like, seriously love this. I love layering papers. I have never layered papers so much until I started watching State Goddess on YouTube, and she's like the paper layering queen. And so I just look for these layouts. And so when I went through the list that Crystal Barrett had shared that of people who had said yes to her scrap lifting or us using them for scrap lifting, I scrolled through, and any of them that I found that had tons of layers, especially like ways to use scraps. I was super thrilled with those. So I tried to tuck in one of those hexagons that I had left over behind what I'm putting down here, but it just didn't look right, and I've covered enough of the butterflies up. So I find out that there is one more hexagon tucked in right here between the bottom and the right picture. And that little circle at the bottom that I matted in black says Happy Day, and I matted it in black so it would stand out. You can't see it. Well, I guess you can see it okay. I mean, obviously in person you can see it perfectly fine, but at a distance with all that busy stuff back there, sometimes the things disappear. So pull out the sticker sheet and I start laying down on this piece of acetate, which is just a sticker sheet that I emptied the different things that I want from this collection to put on my layout. And I like to get them all out because if I don't, what's going to happen is I'm going to put a sticker down where I want it, and then I'm going to go to the next page and find something and think, oh, shoot, it would have looked better right there where I already put that. So I've been trying to be really mindful of putting them on the acetate sheet so that I can look at everything and kind of get an idea for what I like. And then I pulled Scenic Route, the thickers, out, and instead of using one of those bigger titles that I had originally considered, I just pull the word fun out. It's in a pinky color that matches the pink in the paper and matches the pink in that Happy Day, and it goes along with how she has a title up at the top. I don't know what it says because it's not in English, but it's really pretty, and I love that she's got it matted on some of the same paper that she used for the hexagons. It's cool. I love that paper. It's gorgeous. And so I get that fun up there, and then she also has like a bunch of words and things stamped and written, probably stamped on her hexagons, and I don't do that. I do add a couple things towards the end on some of them, but for the most part I let all that pattern do the talking. So I have all these different stickers. One says right now with an arrow, and I've got that pointing over there on the left side. One says hello there. One says discovering. One says take note. And then the one at the very bottom says every day is a new adventure. And I just pulled all of those off of the two different Wonders collections sheets. And then I fussy cut. I matted that pink butterfly on white and then fussy cut around it because it is a clear sticker. So these are from Crafter Square, which is the dollar store, and I love them, and they have a black background, which is perfect since that's what I have matted my butterfly paper in. And the colors are almost identical to the colors in the butterflies on this layout, and that made me really happy. I have those shiny ones that are over there on the right, but I hadn't brought any kind of shine and shimmer into this layout, and I really kind of didn't want to. So, and I felt like these really fit. So I made sure to find 3 that would work, and I put them just in a vertical, not a vertical, you all, diagonal. I really do know the difference between vertical and diagonal. So I use the tag up at the top, and I date this for 16/22. So this just happened about 2 weeks ago. And then I add some journaling about driving to my husband's family's house, and on the way we saw these butterflies, and on the way back I took pictures, but my husband wouldn't stop, so he just slowed down. So some of them are blurry and some of them came out okay. You know, it's okay. We were tired and ready to go home. So it was late and he had to work. So here is the close-up again of her layout. I love this layout. I know I say that all the time. I love all the colors. I love this paper she used. It is super awesome. And I love this Wonders collection. I've never been a pattern paper person, and I have definitely embraced the pattern paper this year. So I am super excited about how this turned out. And I love, love, love it. So there's those little baby butterflies I put. Those are just from Miss Grossman's. And the yellow is not exact match, but it's pretty close. So I get those down, and they're just kind of on altering little hexagons across the page. I hope you all go down in the description box and follow along with all the awesome people who are doing May I Scraplift You this month. Please go check them out and go to this Instagram account and check her out too. Hope you all have a great day. I hope you'll come back tomorrow and see me. Happy scrapping.